All set to get started?
Ready when you are.
Mike, I know Nelson's going to be 5 minutes late, he said. I'll let you know when he's here.
Okay.
But we have the numbers, so you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you for joining the Boston Zoning Commission public hearing. The open public meeting law requires that I notify the public that this meeting is being recorded. Please be aware that an audio and visual recording of this meeting is being made. Have we started the recording? We have. We'll now take a roll call of the members present here at the beginning of the meeting. Each member will identify themselves as being present. Ms. Hatton.
Good morning, present.
Ms. Morikawa.
Present.
Ms. Miller.
Present.
Mr. DeMella.
Present.
Mr. Marr.
Present.
Mr. Leff.
Present.
Mr. Arroyo. We expect to join soon. Mr. McNeil.
Present.
Mr. Ostrich.
Present.
And Mr. Woods.
Present.
All right, this is our 9 a.m. public hearing. This is a public hearing before the Boston Zoning Commission to consider text amendment application number 544 with respect to the Charlestown Neighborhood District. The hearing was duly advertised on November 19, 2025 in the Boston Herald. In a Boston Zoning Commission hearing on proposed petitions, the proponent first present and are subject to the questioning by members of the commission only. We will be taking support and opposition at the same time. If you plan to testify, please take time now to verify that your computer microphone is active. You can click on the hand icon on your Zoom control panel to indicate you wish to speak for the 9 a.m. hearing only. This will signal staff that you would like to speak. When your hand is raised, it will be blue. If you are calling into the meeting and would like to testify, please dial *9 to raise your hand. When we call for testimony, staff will announce your name and allow you to speak. You'll unmute your microphone, but your webcam will not be active. In an effort to accommodate all who wish to speak about each proposal, each person will be given up to 2 minutes to comment. Commission staff will indicate when 30 seconds remain. At that time, please conclude your remarks so that the hearing may continue and others may be heard. Please attempt to offer new information during your testimony. Please do not seek to repeat information and testimony that's been stated prior. If someone has offered similar testimony to yours, please simply state your name and whether you're for and against the proposed amendments. Finally, the proponents will be allowed a brief period of rebuttal if they so desire. Will the planning department please begin the 9 a.m. presentation? We do have interpreters for this first hearing. So this is the order in which we'd ask you to introduce yourselves. Also, for the record, I see that Nelson Arroyo has joined us and is part of the voting quorum for this meeting. Would the interpreters please introduce themselves in the order that is presented on the screen?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Michael. This is John, the Cantonese interpreter for today's meeting. 大家早晨，我係今日嘅廣東話翻譯員。一陣間主持人會開啟翻譯頻道，你會見到熒光幕下端有個地球儀標誌，點選地球儀標誌，揀選你所需要嘅語言，廣東話 Cantonese， 咁你就可以聽到今日嘅即時傳譯啦。唔該晒，拜拜 ，Thank you。
Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. My name is Wei. I will be a Chinese member interpreter today. 大家好，我是您的普通话同声翻译Wei。感谢您加入今天的会议。如果你需要同声翻译的话呢，请你点击屏幕底部的地球仪标记，然后选择中文Mandarin 选项进入翻译频道。如果你是使用手机或者平板电脑，请点击3个点，然后选择更多进入翻译频道。Okay, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jardine, and I'm your Haitian Creole interpreter for this morning's meeting. Bonjour, nom c'est Jardine, et c'est moi qui interpréter pour vous en créole haïtien pour réunion matin. Merci.
Hello, everybody. I'm Melissa. I'm the Spanish interpreter for today. Hola a todos. Soy Melissa, la intérprete español del día de hoy. En breve vamos a activar la interpretación simultánea al español y en las opciones de Zoom van a poder ver un icono con forma de globo que dice interpretación. Van a hacer clic ahí y elegir español para poder escuchar en simultáneo. Muchas gracias.
Hi, my name is Vicky and I will be your Vietnamese interpreter for today's meeting. Xin chào, tôi tên là Vicky và tôi sẽ phụ trách phiên dịch từ tiếng Anh sang tiếng Việt cho cuộc họp ngày hôm nay. Để nghe tiếng Việt, vui lòng chọn hình quả địa cầu và chọn ngôn ngữ tiếng Việt hoặc Vietnamese để được hỗ trợ. Xin cảm ơn. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Nadine. I will be your Cape Verdean Creole interpreter for this meeting. Bom dia, meu nome é Nadine, eu também ser intérprete de crioulo naquela reunião ali. Assim, nós queremos ouvir reunião na crioulo de Cabo Verde, por favor, e nós entra na ícone de globo e escute interpretação na crioulo de Cabo Verde. Obrigado. Thank you.
Thank you to our interpreters. The interpretation channels are now open. Will the planning department please proceed with the 9 a.m. hearing?
All right. Good morning. My name is Christopher Maskus, and I'm a Planner 1 on the Zoning Reform Team, here to present a proposed text amendment to Article 62, Section 20 of the Boston Zoning Code. This amendment is specifically tied to height regulations within the PDA 1 area of Charlestown, outlined in Plan Charlestown 2023, and is needed to clarify the height limits that apply south of Austin Street within this boundary. Next slide, please. As background, Plan Charlestown identifies the Austin Street's parking lot as one of the neighborhood's highest priority redevelopment opportunities. The site is also highlighted in the city's Public Land for Public Good initiative as a location capable of delivering new mixed-income housing, public open space, and improved neighborhood connections. Next slide, please. Throughout the planning process, the community and different stakeholders helped to shape a clear set of priorities and goals for the Austin Street Lots development. These goals include delivering mixed income units ranging from deeply affordable to market rate, creating high quality, publicly accessible open space that can support sports practice and youth programming, supporting local artists in and around the community by incorporating rehearsal and performance space, and delivering essential public realm and streetway improvements around the site, including the Austin Street-Rutherford Avenue intersection. Next slide, please. Plan Charlestown establishes a clearly laid out height framework for this particular area of the neighborhood. North of Austin Street, Plan Charlestown calls for a stepped height limit starting at 90 feet closest to Rutherford Avenue and increasing up to 280 feet closest to the I-93 viaduct. South of Austin Street, within the same PDA area, Plan Charlestown calls for a consistent 150-foot height limit between Rutherford Avenue and I-93. Next slide, please. The Austin Street Lots PDA Master Plan outlines the potential development at this site, envisioning up to 709,000 square feet of gross floor area, up to 705 new dwelling units, and heights consistent with the Plan Charlestown scheme, including up to the 150-foot height limit in later phases. This plan advances the goals established by the Community and Planning Department, but clarification in the existing zoning language is necessary to ensure alignment between the zoning code and the PDA framework. Next slide, please. Under the current Article 62 text, the height limits are defined geographically, but not specified by the existing language in a key way. While the 90, 150, and 280-foot height bands are described, the text does not explicitly state that the 150-foot height limit applies to the area south of Austin Street within the PDA 1 boundary. This creates ambiguity for both the PDA master plan and future development proposals. The intent of Plan Charlestown is clear, but the zoning text must be updated to reflect this intent. Next slide, please. The proposed text amendment adds necessary clarification. The revised language explicitly states that the 150-foot height applies in areas north of Austin Street that is west of a line drawn 200 feet west of Rutherford Avenue, and in the area that is south of Austin Street within PDA 1. All other text remains unchanged. This update does not alter the planning intent, height allowances, or the PDA master plan, but simply codifies the height structure in a clear and enforceable manner. Next slide, please. This clarification is fully aligned with both community feedback and comments received at the PDA master plan during the PDA master plan review process and during Plan Charlestown. At the BPDA board meeting on October 16th, 2025, residents, IAG members, and union workers all expressed strong support for maximizing housing production at the Austin Street lots, including the importance of permitting the full 150-foot height. Public comments emphasize that these height allowances are fundamental to enabling additional affordable units, new retail and active ground floor spaces, and improved connections along Rutherford Avenue. This amendment ensures that the zoning code accurately reflects these community-defined goals. Next slide, please. Thank you for the time and consideration today. I'm happy to answer any and all questions regarding this amendment to Article 62, Section 20 of the Zoning Code.
Thank you, Christopher. At this time, we'll take comments or questions from members of the commission only, followed by public testimony. Are there any members of the commission that have questions regarding this presentation? Hearing none, we would now invite participation from the public. As mentioned before, please indicate on your Zoom panel if you wish to speak. If you are dialing into the meeting, you can dial *9 to raise your hand. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this item?
Does not look like it.
Okay, with no raised hands, we will move into our business session. Comments, questions, motions from commissioners. Commissioner Hatton.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. I was going to propose that I would like to make a motion that we approve text amendment application number 544, Plan Charlestown, PDA height, Article 62, Charlestown Neighborhood District.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion from members of the commission? Hearing none, we'll move toward a roll call vote. Ms. Hatton.
Yes.
Ms. Morikawa.
Yes.
Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. DeMella.
Yes.
Mr. Marr.
Yes.
Mr. Leff.
Yes.
Mr. Arroyo.
Yes.
Mr. McNeil.
Yes.
Mr. Ostrich.
Yes.
Mr. Woods.
Yes.
And I vote yes. That's a unanimous vote in support. Thank you to the planning department team for your presentation on that matter. We will now move forward with our 9:05 a.m. public hearing. Thank you for joining the Boston Zoning Commission public hearing. The open public meeting law requires that I notify the public that this meeting is being recorded. Please be aware that an audio and visual recording of this meeting is being made. We'll now take a roll call of members present at the beginning of this hearing. Ms. Hatton.
Present.
Mr. Morikawa. Ms. Morikawa.
Present.
Ms. Miller.
Present.
Mr. DeMella.
Present.
Mr. Marr.
Present.
Mr. Leff.
Present.
Mr. Arroyo.
Present.
Mr. McNeil.
Present.
Mr. Ostrich.
Present.
Mr. Woods.
Present.
And I'm Michael Nichols. I am present. 9:05 a.m. public hearing. This is the public hearing before the Boston Zoning Commission to consider text amendment application number 543 with respect to the squares and streets zoning. The hearing was duly advertised on November 19, 2025 in the Boston Herald. In a Boston Zoning Commission hearing on proposed petitions, the proponent will first present their case and are subject to questioning by members of the commission only. We will then take support and opposition during public testimony at the same time. If you're planning to testify, please take time now to verify that your computer microphone is active by clicking the hand icon on your Zoom control panel. This will signal to staff that you wish to speak. When raised, it will be blue. If you are calling into the meeting and wish to testify, you'll dial *9 to raise your hand. When we call for all testimony, staff will announce your name in the order in which you have requested to speak, allow you to unmute your microphone, and your webcam will not be active. In an effort to accommodate all who wish to speak about each proposal, each person will be given up to 2 minutes to comment. Commission staff will indicate when 30 seconds remain. Finally, the proponents will be allowed a brief period of rebuttal if they so desire. Will the planning department please begin the presentation?
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Maya Callergold. Am I frozen? I look frozen on my end.
We don't see you, but we can hear you clearly.
Okay, I will continue. Hopefully my video comes back. My name is Maya Callergold, and I'm a planner on the zoning reform team, and I will be presenting on the proposed text updates to the squares and street zoning. Next slide, please. First, to summarize the main components of the proposed text updates, the proposed amendment adds 2 new squares and streets districts. It also makes a few other changes to the use regulations in S2, S3, S4, and S5, and makes some other formatting updates. Next slide, please. As a reminder, there are currently 6 squares and streets districts in the zoning code, which all allow mixed-use developments of multifamily housing, commercial and cultural spaces in the neighborhood squares around Boston. They vary in terms of the rules around the maximum scale of buildings and the required open space surrounding buildings, as well as the types of uses allowed. Next slide, please. Currently, the squares and streets districts exist in 2 neighborhoods. They're in Mattapan, where they were mapped last year following the recommendations of Plan Mattapan, and they're in Rosendale, where they were mapped earlier this year following the recommendations of the Rosendale Square Small Area Plan. Next slide, please. For some background, this amendment we're proposing today is our response to a citizens zoning petition, which was submitted by a group of Hyde Park residents last year during the Cleary Square Small Area Planning process. Major components of the Hyde Park residents petition included 1, increasing flexibility for use regulations in the existing squares and streets districts, especially on upper stories, and 2, adding new zoning districts to create more options for smaller scale mixed use and commercial areas. We met this first request for increasing use flexibility in the existing squares and streets districts through a zoning amendment, which was adopted in January 2025. Although the new districts we're proposing now are not identical to those in the citizens petition, this amendment is meant to meet the residents' request for more options for districts that suit smaller scale mixed use and commercial areas. Next slide, please. This approach to addressing community feedback and the resident zoning petition allows the planning department to maintain a consistent approach to the drafting of the zoning code, respond to this community feedback in Hyde Park without contradicting recent planning in Rosendale and Mattapan, where the squares and streets districts are currently mapped, and ensure that this new zoning is vetted through a full citywide community engagement process. Next slide, please. So the first new district included in this amendment is S3-6. To explain how this fits into the existing squares and streets districts, S3-6 is the exact same as our existing S3 district, except that the height is limited to 6 stories instead of 7. All of the other dimensional and use regulations are the exact same as S3. We added S3-6 to the zoning code by creating a footnote to the existing S3 district instead of creating new columns in order to avoid redundancy. Next slide, please. So to understand more the difference between S3 and S3-6, it's helpful to understand more why S3 allows 7 stories. So the existing S3 height regulations were created to allow for 5/1 construction, which is a common and cost-effective mixed-use building typology made of 5 stories of wood-framed construction, which is typically residential, above a concrete podium, which is typically commercial. Relatedly, buildings in S3 are likely to be only 6 stories as opposed to the maximum 7 allowed in order to avoid the additional costs of complying with the Massachusetts Building Code requirements for high-rise buildings, which apply to buildings over 70 feet. However, S3 allows 85 feet and 7 stories in order to account for the fact that zoning height includes occupiable areas such as roof decks, as well as mechanical systems that cover more than 1/3 of the roof area. So this allows for buildings that are most likely to be built in this district, which is 6 stories, with additional zoning heights to allow for flexibility for things like roof decks or rooftop mechanicals, which is especially important for all electric buildings. Next slide. So again, S3-6 buildings are allowed to be up to 6 stories. Just like S3, S3-6 allows a large mix of small and medium scale commercial uses that promote activity, and active uses are required on the ground floor. So in terms of mapping, S36 would be appropriate in active Main Street areas, but where there is more sensitivity to height and where the city is less concerned with the need for rooftop amenity spaces or rooftop mounted mechanical systems. Next slide, please. The next district this amendment adds is a 4-story commercial oriented mixed use district called the Shopping and Commercial Nodes District, or SC. This district allows buildings to fill the width of the lot and has a small outdoor amenity space requirements. It also allows a wide range of active and commercial uses, including on upper stories, in order to encourage commercial growth. And dwelling units are conditional on the ground floor primary lot frontage to further encourage commercial and active uses. Next slide, please. To explain more how SC compares to the existing Squares and Streets districts, SC has the same dimensional requirements as S2, such as the same yards and the same floor plate maximums. The difference is that SC is 1 story shorter than S2, and the outdoor amenity space is smaller in SC in comparison to S2. In terms of uses, SC has a wider range of commercial uses in comparison to the existing smaller scale districts of S0, S1, and S2, and instead has use allowances more similar to S3 and S4. Next slide. So now to talk more about the other use changes proposed in this amendment. Next slide, please. First, this amendment makes shelter facilities conditional instead of forbidden in S2, S3, S4, and S5. This makes this needed use able to be created in these districts after a case-by-case review. This amendment also makes shelter facilities exempt from the active use requirements, which is already how we deal with civic uses, open space uses, and affordable housing. Next slide, please. Next, this amendment makes banks allowed on the ground floor instead of conditional in S3, S4, and S5. This use is already common in Squares and Streets areas, and we think this especially makes sense in these districts because the active use requirements in S3, S4, and S5 ensures that banks will not be the only ground floor use. Next slide, please. This amendment also makes large retail stores, which are between 10,000 and 5,000, sorry, 10,000 and 50,000 square feet, allowed instead of conditional on upper stories in S4 and S5. This makes it easier to create multi-story retail in these larger scale districts, which is generally how this will occur in this context. Next slide, please. The last use change in this amendment is that we're proposing removing a rule that currently exists in S2 through S5 and requires that wherever a commercial use is on the ground floor has to have a minimum height of 14 feet. This rule was created to ensure that new buildings can easily accommodate uses that need a higher ceiling height, such as restaurants. The reason we're proposing removing this rule is because it creates a potential barrier for new businesses trying to open in existing buildings if the existing ground floor height is less than 14 feet. For new buildings, this design consideration can be accounted for in Article 80 design review. Next slide. This slide explains the main formatting update included in this amendment. Currently, asterisks are used in the use table to indicate that a use has a use and performance standard in Article 26. Some use and performance standards apply to entire groups of uses, such as the limits on ground floor dwelling units. This amendment removes the asterisks that are used for these whole groups of uses, so that they are only used for individual uses that have use and performance standards. Next slide, please. Lastly, this amendment includes a fix to a typo that is in the definition of restaurant. Next slide. So lastly, for public engagement that we did for this amendment, we had a 4-week comment period, during which time we had a virtual public meeting and 5 office hour sessions. At the public meeting, interpreters were available in Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, Cape Verdean Creole, Haitian Creole, and Vietnamese, and the executive summary was translated in these 6 languages as well. We received one public comment, which was a support letter we received yesterday from the Hyde Park Neighborhood Association, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move forward with questions for members of the commission only. Members of the public who wish to speak in this matter could begin to register your interest by raising your hand or dialing *9. We will start with members of the commission who have questions for the planning department team. Quiet crowd this morning. We do have public testimony, so we will move forward with that. We have at least a few hands raised so far. Others that are interested, please indicate it on your Zoom panel.
To start off, we are going to have Diana Brownchuk from Counselor Pepin's office.
Great. Diana, you should be unmuted. Go ahead.
Good morning. I believe it's a good morning for everybody. Good morning, commissioners. This is Diana Brownchuk testifying on behalf of District 5 City Councilor Enrique Pepin. The councilor would like to go on record that he is supportive of these text amendments. They come from a collaboration from community members, the Hyde Park Neighborhood Association, and the Boston Planning Department. It will reflect the historic commercial uses of Hyde Park while allowing and building up more much needed vital housing and mixed uses throughout the city. Thank you for your consideration and hope that you're able to support.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ken Fields. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Thank you for the ability to comment. My name is Ken Fields. I live in Ward 1819. I want to thank Councilor Pepin and Representative Consalvo for their support, and Maya for her patience and multiple renditions of the citizens or residents petition. I'm speaking in support of this amendment. This makes important improvements to squares and street zoning by lifting the hurdles to commercial and retail uses, which were not in the original squares and street zoning. And these are the squares and streets where we actually have our commercial centers, and they need these improvements to the zoning code so that we can lift all these hurdles. This provides greater flexibility for these areas, and again, very much in support, and I thank everybody for the work on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Next, we have Frank O'Brien. Your 2 minutes start now.
Yes, hi, good morning, everybody. Chair Nichols and the board commission. Frank O'Brien here speaking on behalf of Hyde Park Neighborhood Association. As was indicated in our support letter, we're very much in favor of moving forward with this, and we thank time of BPDA staff, Chief Shen, Mayor Wu, and Councilor Pepin. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. That is all the hands raised.
Great. We will close out public testimony and move into a business session for the commission. Comments, questions, motions from members of the commission.
I just want to commend Maya and all the staff and the neighbors for, no one ever gets everything they want. And this seems like a really great example of a good coming together, collaboration, thinking creatively. As a Ward 18 resident, it makes perfect sense. And congratulations to Frank and Maya, and I'm going to be voting in support. This is exactly what we should be doing as a zoning body, listening to the neighborhood.
Thank you, Commissioner. Others?
I was also going to commend the staff for weaving this into the existing squares and streets, which I think is a positive throughout the city. And I particularly appreciated the presentation materials we received and how this is applicable throughout the city. You've taken some comments from Hyde Park, but you've made them relevant to the whole city, and I appreciate that. So thank you for all your work. I'm also happy to make a motion that we approve text amendment application number 543, Squares and Streets zoning update, Articles 3, 8, 11, 26, and 89.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Hearing no further discussion, we'll move forward with a roll call vote of the members. Ms. Hatton.
Yes.
Ms. Morikawa,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. DeMella,
Yes.
Mr. Marr,
Yes.
Mr. Leff,
Yes.
Mr. Arroyo,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ostrich,
Yes.
and Mr. Woods.
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries. Thank you very much. Congrats to the folks in Hyde Park. We will now move forward with our 9:10 a.m. public hearing for today. Thank you for joining the Boston Zoning Commission public hearing. The open public meeting law requires that I notify the public that this meeting is being recorded. Please be aware that an audio and visual recording of this meeting is being made. We'll now take a roll call of members present at the beginning of this hearing. Roll call will identify that each member is present and voting. Ms. Hatton,
Present.
Ms. Morikawa,
Present.
Ms. Miller,
Present.
Mr. DeMella,
Present.
Mr. Marr,
Present.
Mr. Leff,
Present.
Mr. Arroyo,
Present.
Mr. McNeil,
Present.
Mr. Ostrich,
Present.
Mr. Woods,
Present.
and I'm Michael Nichols and still present. This is the 9:10 a.m. public hearing. A public hearing before the Boston Zoning Commission to consider special order number 16 with respect to linkage. The hearing was duly advertised on November 19, 2025 in the Boston Herald. In a Boston Zoning Commission hearing on proposed petitions, the proponent will first present their case and are subject to questioning by members of the commission only. We will take support and opposition at the same time during public testimony. If you plan to testify, please take time now to verify that your computer microphone is active. You can click the hand icon on your Zoom control panel. This will signal to staff that you wish to speak. Please dial *9 if calling into the meeting and you also wish to speak. When we call for all testimony, staff will announce your name in the order in which you've raised your hand and allow you to unmute your microphone while your webcam will not be active. Finally, if the proponents are so desire, there'll be a brief period of rebuttal. Will the planning department please begin the presentation?
Good morning, Good morning, Chair Nichols and Commissioners. My name is Ruben Cantor. I'm the Senior Policy Advisor for the Planning Department. As noted, we're here to talk about linkage and a request to override the automatic increase in linkage that would take place on January 1st, 2026. Next slide, please. So just a little bit of background about linkage. It first came in 1983, beginning of the Flynn administration, and it was initially just for housing trust only, for commercial institutional projects of 100,000 square feet. In 1986, it was updated, expanded to incorporate the jobs trust as well. And over the next 35 years, there were only substantive changes to linkage was to update the rate periodically. I'm going to show you a little bit of history of that rate change, and that required vote of the Zoning Commission and the state legislature in each instance. In 2021, City Council and Legislature enacted new legislation that removed linkage from requiring state approval. And in that process, they also created the ability to index linkage to the cost of living, to two cost of living indexes. I'll show you that in a minute as well. And then in 2023, the city expanded linkage to projects of 50,000 plus square feet and separated the rate between lab usage and non-lab usage. And those amendments also included rates for 2024 and 2025. So the automatic increase that was put in place in next month would be the first time that would take place without an override of that rate increase. And so we're here to request that we keep the linkage rate the same for 2026. Next slide, please. Just a little bit about the success of the program. You can see here over $280 million have been collected on the housing side since the program started in 1987. The first collections in 1987. Just last year, we had nearly $18 million in collections for the Neighborhood Housing Trust. And as of October, we were at over $13 million for this year. So really doing very well in that front. All told, over 10,000 new units of income restricted housing have been created. Another 6,000 income restricted units have been preserved. And just last year, 439 units came online and another 332 income restricted housing starts got into the ground. 75% of all units are under 60% AMI, with an additional 18% between 60 and 80% AMI. I think most would say that, that this has been an incredibly successful program on the housing side. And next slide, please. I think you'll see the same on the jobs front as well. Just in the last decade, about $29 million in grant funding has come from linkage and distributed to organizations serving over 10,000 low and moderate income residents. Wide range of trainings in a lot of different fields and many different levels of support. Just 3 recent initiatives funded by Linkage. The tuition-free community college program received over $4 million and supported 2,000 students. The Life Science Initiative trained over 100 residents with a $1.6 million investment, and the City Academy for commercial driver's license and EMT training with a $1 million investment. Again, just a very successful and important program for the city. Next slide, please. So just in the last few years, we can see a little bit of recent history of linkage. In 2018, the total linkage, that bottom left number, was just under $11 a square foot. As of January 2025, for lab uses, it was over $30 a square foot, and for non-lab uses, it was $23 a square foot. So just in this time period, we can see a 114% increase for non-labs and 185% increase for lab use between 2018 and 2025. Next slide, please. So looking at a little bit of history of linkage. The red line shows inflation since 1983, and the blue line shows the linkage rate set at $5 in 1983 and how it's grown over time. And there was a pretty significant period of time for most of the last 42 years where linkage was below the rate of inflation. And we could see in just the last couple of years it has leapfrogged over the rate of inflation. That is part, but not all of the context around this request to keep linkage flat for the next year. Next slide, please. So our research department, many thanks to Michael Endeley, in particular from the research department, did an extensive research into a couple of things. First, they looked at what the inflation rate average would require. So the way the code was written, it'd be the average of the consumer price index for urban consumers and the consumer price, the CPI for housing. That average as of September was 3.95% increase. So that would be the amount that the linkage rates would go up. That would represent a $1.22 increase per square foot increase for labs and 91 cents per square foot for non-lab usage. Next slide, please. Our research division also dug into some of the additional information that has led to this recommendation today. First, we've seen construction costs increase nearly 26% since 2020, including based on the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The last time they reported this number out, construction material costs nationally have been up 40% since 2020. Pretty significant cost increases. Also, financing costs. We do know that back in 2020, the Treasury rate was under 1%. Now it's hovering around 4%. I think that there may be a change perhaps today. We'll see what happens today. But this has really represented some significant costs, in some cases 7- and 8-figure additional costs on many developments in the city. In addition, supply chain issues, which we know have been in effect for the last number of years, are now exacerbated by tariff issues. And I'm definitely getting a lot of developers who are talking to me about the cost of tariffs as a real impediment to being able to move forward. And I think I'm saving the most important reasons perhaps for last. We'll see, and I'll show you some data in just a moment, that Boston area office development has slowed from over 2 million square foot annual to under 300,000 square feet. Much discussed lab vacancies are over 20%. Office vacancies are also in the neighborhood of 20%, depending on which number you look at. CoStar's is around 17% in downtown Boston. Colliers has citywide around 24% office vacancy. And that is having a real impact on the ability to move forward with many commercial development. And then finally, I'll just note that with the federal grant fund pullbacks on vaccines, on other health-related research, and the impact on the institutional real estate market. You know, we're really entering some uncertain times on that front as well. Next slide, please. So I'm going to show you 3 different graphs. I'm going to do my best to be as clear as I can, but feel free to come back to this if any of this is confusing. So this is actual linkage funds received over the last decade. Housing Trust in blue, the Jobs Trust in orange, and we can see, as noted, 2024 was a banner year. 2025 continuing to do very well. So we can see the significant increase in linkage funds over the last number of years, and that has really funded a lot on the housing and jobs front. Next slide, please. So what we're looking at here is the total linkage commitments by project permit. So this is the year that a project received the permit and the amount of funds that they were committing to pay for linkage in their DIPs. So you can see 2019 was certainly a terrific year. Over $40 million of linkage was received that year. 22 and 23 were also really strong years. And then we can start to see the correction based on those vacancy rates starting to hit in 24 and pretty rough in 2025. And you'll see in the next slide that we are anticipating those commitments to continue at this level, the 24-25 levels. Next slide, please. This slide shows new filings. So this is filings at for the planning department, the BPDA, and these are the total linkage obligations based on filings of Article 80 filings. So you can see 21, 22, 23 were really strong with filings, but the thing to really note in there is all that red. All that red is board approved that have not yet gone to receive a permit for construction. So while there was lots of optimism and continued work to put Article 80 projects through the process and went through board approved, only 9% of projects that have been filed that are linkage eligible based on the total amount of linkage due. Only 9% of that has gone to construction in the last 5 years, and we have not received a single linkage eligible filing to date in 2025. Next slide, please. So I hope here I've made a bit of a compelling case about why this would be the wrong time to allow linkage to increase by the 4%. We recognize the challenges that developers are facing, and we're requesting this commission take a small but meaningful step to hold costs steady for just 1 year. This is a single year pause on the automatic increase. We will be coming back to you next year with this analysis to share with you our thoughts. Once again, this will be an annual review that we will do. If we take no action, linkage will go up by 4% on January 1. And as noted, we're just going to continue to closely monitor filings, and we have an internal group that will be doing that work. So with that, last slide, please. I just want to really appreciate all of the people that played a meaningful role in getting this process through, and especially Max Houghton, policy specialist, who led a lot of this effort over the last number of months. With that, I will conclude.
Thank you, Ruben. Any questions from members of the commission? Okay, hearing none, we will move to public testimony. If you are interested in testifying, please indicate so on your Zoom control panel or by hitting *9 from the phone. You will be, public testimony is limited to 2 minutes per person, and commission staff will let you know when 30 seconds remain.
So we have Don Gillis.
Tara, your audio cut out a little bit, but Don Gillis, you're up first.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Don Gillis. I live in Ward 10. I was born in Boston. I've been in Boston raising a family, working for over 50 years. And I come before you to sort of raise some questions about the recommendation by the Redevelopment Authority, BAPD, to freeze linkage. I appreciate Mr. Cantor's presentation. It was very detailed. That level of detail was not available in the recommendation that I received, that I saw, that went to the Boston Redevelopment Authority, BAPD board. So some of that data was not included in that. I did communicate through Joanne Marquis by letter some of my thoughts on this particular proposal. I hope you have that in your package. If not, I hope it's made available. Let me just be very brief. As I think Mr. Cantor indicated, linkage has a long history as a development impact fee in Boston, beginning in 1983 and to the present day. You know, it's a long and controversial history as well. As many of you may know from history, is that the development community, led by the late Jerome Rappaport, tried to stop linkage, and many members of the development community do not support linkage. Then do not support it now and have tried to stop it or change it all along the way. Not everybody, but many members of the development community
30
felt
seconds.
that it was an undue tax. I think that the proposal to freeze a linkage at this time, and I understand the development community, reinforces a false narrative that linkage is creating the causes of the slow market. There was no presentation of what would be lost if projects do go forward. So I think that we don't want to get down the slippery slope of requiring to freeze a linkage today, reducing it tomorrow, and eliminating it
Thank you
in
so
the
much. Your
future.
time is up.
And thank you very much. I think we have had the support from Mayor Wu.
There is no more hands up anymore.
May I?
Yeah, Ruben, would you
briefly-
clarify the difference I think between the freeze of linkage and a freeze of the increases on linkage?
Well, can I first just say that this presentation that I gave to you today is the identical presentation I gave before the BPDA board last month. So, so the question about the automatic increase goes into effect every year, if not overridden. I'm not sure what the right word is, by this board. So we will come back each year, do an evaluation, look at look at the indexing rates, look at the successive development, but ultimately, without action of this board, it's just an annual determination of this body, whether or not what the linkage rate would be, or to allow it to go up or down based on the CPI average. So this is a 1-year pause on the increase, and then those automatic increases take effect, automatically after that without further action of this body. Does that answer the question?
I believe so.
And Ruben, I think one other clarification that might be helpful, that I think you that you provided, which I appreciated, is the ability to do a catch-up. That skipping the automatic January 1st, 2026, does that offer us, though, in the future, if there was a sense that we could recapture the 4% into a future increase? You could do that if you wanted in these future discussions, I believe.
That is possible. It would require an action of the zoning commission to override the automatic increase to do a catch-up, but that is an option.
It is. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, we will close public testimony, seeing no additional hands raised. We are in our business session of the zoning commission.
I just wanted to make a comment on this. I appreciate all the analysis that Ruben and his group did. It was excellent. And I think the detail and the analysis was superb. The key point I would make is the maintaining of the current level of linkage is a much higher level of linkage than historically, since we made the significant increase 3, 4, 5 years ago. So even though we're freezing it, we're maintaining it at a much higher rate than it's been historically. So I would just point that out because I understand the public sensitivity by some on this, but we've significantly raised linkage over the past few years, and we're maintaining it at that significantly higher level without this current 4% increase. But as Ruben mentioned, the increase has been significant over the past few years.
If I may just add to that, I thought the job that the agency's done, and Ruben Cantor in particular, was very impressive and thoughtful. There are other things in here that one might have concern about in linkage. For one, when as Jill had indicated, we raised it considerably in the past, and I guess as I remember on the record that I voted against it, but that one of the in particular is biotech lab buildings. We thought, oh, we have a great boom here, and we increased the impact on those buildings, and now we're sitting here way over permitted, vacancy like crazy, and those buildings are still subject to these kind of at a very heavy linkage rate. In any case, I support the delay or the hold on linkage at this point. Not on linkage, but on the increase in linkage, I should say.
Thank you for those comments. Comments or questions? Maybe a motion from the commission?
I would make a motion, Chair Nichols, that we approve special order number 16 linkage to adopt a 0% increase to the linkage policy for a period of 1 year beginning January 1st, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and second. We'll now take a roll call on members of the commission. Ms. Hatton,
Yes.
Ms. Morikawa,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. DeMello,
Yes.
Mr. Marr,
Yes.
Mr. Leff,
Yes.
Mr. Arroyo,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ostrich,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The motion carries. Thank you very much to Ruben and the team. We will now move forward with our final public hearing of the morning, our 9:15 a.m. public hearing. Thank you for joining the Boston Zoning Commission public hearing. The open public meeting law requires that I notify the public that this meeting is being recorded. Please be aware that an audio and visual recording of this meeting is being made. We'll now take a roll call of members of the commission present at the beginning of this hearing. Ms. Hatton,
Present.
Ms. Morikawa,
Present.
Ms. Miller,
Present.
Present.
Mr. DeMello,
Present.
Mr. Marr,
Present.
Mr. Leff,
Present.
Mr. Arroyo,
Present.
Mr. McNeil,
Present.
Mr. Ostrich,
Present.
Mr. Woods,
Present.
and I'm present. This is our 9:15 a.m. public hearing, a public hearing before the Boston Zoning Commission to consider a petition for approval of the 2025 to 2035 Northeastern University Institutional Master Plan. The hearing was duly advertised on November 19, 2025 in the Boston Herald. In a Boston Zoning Commission hearing on proposed petitions, the proponent will first present their case and are subject to questioning by members of the commission only. We are taking support and opposition at the same time. If you plan to testify, please take time now to verify that your computer microphone is active. You can indicate your interest in speaking by clicking the hand icon on your Zoom control panel. This will signal to staff, again, that you wish to speak. When your hand is raised, it will be blue. If you're calling into the meeting and would like to testify, please dial *9. When we call for all testimony, staff will announce your name and allow you to unmute your microphone. Your webcam will not be active. In an effort to accommodate all who wish to speak about each proposal, you'll be given up to 2 minutes to comment. Commission staff will indicate when 30 seconds remain. At that time, please conclude your remarks so that the hearing may continue and others may be heard. Finally, if the proponents desire, they will be offered a brief period of rebuttal. Will the planning department please begin our final presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. The proposal before you is for the new 10-year institutional master plan from Northeastern University. This IMP was approved by the BPDA board on November 13th, alongside an ADB large project approval for a new multipurpose arena facility within the IMP area. The proposed IMP contains 8 proposed institutional projects totaling approximately 2.3 million square feet and includes over 1,900 new dorm beds, major athletic facilities and student recreation facilities, and academic and research space to prepare for a 21st century workforce. The IMP is accompanied by a significant mitigation and community benefits package, which the Northeastern team will include in their presentation. 7 total task force and public meetings were held by the Boston Planning Department between June 2024 and today, and all were advertised online in local publications and well attended. I want to thank our team at the Planning Department and the members of the Northeastern Task Force for their time and effort spent in the review of this project. I will now turn it over to my colleague Ted Schwartzberg to discuss the planning context considered in the review of this IMP before Northeastern begins their presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Quinn. Next slide, please. Ted Schwartzberg, Boston Planning Department Assistant Deputy Director for Planning Review. Today, I'm presenting on behalf of my colleague Ella Wise, who staffed this for the planning team. In terms of zoning context, the existing 23 IMP provides both the planning and zoning context. Notably, the existing IMP established goals for providing student housing on campus that informed the proposed IMP in a number of ways. For example, the university originally proposed academic uses for the redevelopment of the Bernstein-Rubenstein site, and this shifted during the course of the planning department's Article 80 review to now include residential uses at the site. In addition to the 2013 IMP, the planning context also includes the 2015 Avenue of the Arts Design Guidelines. The cover of that document is on the right in this image. The 2015 design guidelines recommend height, massing, and public realm improvements along Huntington Avenue to manage shadow and other environmental impacts and to improve multimodal mobility on the Huntington Avenue corridor. And at the time, in October 2015, this plan was adopted by the then BRA board, but it did not go to this commission because it was only a plan, and the concept was that it would inform subsequent IMP overlays, as I mentioned, the 2013 IMP, and it also informed the planning department's work with Northeastern on the IMP that you're reviewing today. So on that note, I'll now turn it over to Northeastern staff to present in more detail. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Quinn. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Great. Good morning, Chairman Nichols, commissioners, Boston Planning staff, and members of the public. My name is Victoria Abelina, and I'm an Associate Vice President for Campus Planning and Design at Northeastern. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Kathy Spiegelman, Michael Glover, and John Tobin, and they're here to help answer questions if you have any at the end. Quinn and Ted covered a lot, but I'm going to just jump back into the presentation to go through the slides in an order in which we presented it to the BPDA board. Could you go to the previous slide, please? Thank you. So we're here today to share our 10-year institutional master plan, and the IMP provides a planning and zoning framework for shaping a built environment for our Boston campus. It'll strengthen and celebrate Northeastern's mission. And the way we established this plan is we were guided by our 2013 institutional master plan that covered a lot of the same sites, and that was approved over 12 years ago now. And we're planning for the next 10 years through the renovation and redevelopment of older and or underutilized buildings and sites within the campus boundaries. The focus of this IMP is more on capital renewal than the previous IMP, but it also outlines several site redevelopments, as Quinn mentioned. This slide here highlights some of the metrics that define our plan, but for more details, you can access the plan on the Boston Planning Department's website. Next slide. Thank you. Northeastern campus spans 5 neighborhoods: Back Bay, Fenway, Mission Hill, and Roxbury and South End. And our location between the Southwest Corridor and the Back Bay fence means we serve as a connecting landscape for Boston and a nexus of these 5 neighborhoods. So in this context, we really considered what is the impact of our redevelopment and what is the role of our campus in supporting and advancing the neighborhood needs. We own or lease at least 106 buildings, totaling approximately 8.8 million square feet across 67 acres. Our IMP meets our academic and student life needs while remaining respectful and responsive to the rich urban context in which we're in. Next slide, please. As Quinn mentioned, over 2 years, we engaged extensively with local residents, neighborhood groups, many elected officials, business leaders, and the IMP task force. We held 7 public and task force meetings, 9 Boston Civic Design Commission work sessions, and numerous discussions with city staff. Next slide, please. 5 principles guide our plan. The first one being around community and connection, where we focus on connecting local and campus communities through physical and social infrastructure. Flexibility and agility to support mobility across our global campus for our Northeastern community. Third is impactful learning and collaboration to promote multidisciplinary research and experiential learning. I'm sure you're familiar with our co-op programs that really define the Northeastern. Openness and belonging, which fosters welcoming environment for all. And finally, sustainability and resilience which really is the focus of leading in sustainability to address climate crisis. Next slide, please. Northeastern's values are expressed in the built environment through 3 big ideas that we applied to the campus design. And those are organized in 3 categories: experiential learning, sustainable and resilient public realm, and campus within the city. I could go in more detail if we have time, but for now I'm just going to skip to the next slide, please, to talk about what sites we identified. We're proposing a total of 8 redevelopment sites within the 2025 IMP. 4 of these sites were previously approved within the 2013 IMP, which is the Gainsborough, number 4, Rubenstein redevelopment, which is a site number 2 on this map, Cabot, number 5, and Forsyth, number 6. The most notable project that you have probably seen the press and that had undergone Article 80 large project review simultaneously with the IMP is the 262 St. Botolph multipurpose arena project that is redevelopment of the current Matthews Arena. These development sites total approximately 2.5 million gross square feet, and each site has a range of development depending on the program and the use. And each site will be reviewed as part of Article 80 zoning process review. In addition to these redevelopment sites, Northeastern plans to undertake several capital renewal projects and renovations for existing buildings. The sites were selected due to redevelopment capacity, locational synergies, transformation potential, and known and anticipated capital renewal challenges and opportunities. Next slide. This is the same view that describes projects in 3 dimensions. There was a lot of focus with the Planning Department and Boston City Design Commission on scaling and massing of the projects. And so the square footages were derived from this new zoning envelope. There is significant density, but it is appropriate for this location in the city along the Huntington Avenue and the High Spine. And all of the sites follow the design guidelines and previously established zoning envelopes from the IMP. Next slide, please. This is just highlighting some of the design guideline discussions that we've had. So we worked with the city's planning department and BCDC. We established the urban design framework to guide future development on our campus. The framework is consistent with Avenue of the Arts urban design guidelines and the context of the surrounding neighborhoods. So as it gets closer to South End, it is responsive in that. It also defines and responds to our architecturally rich campus. We do have buildings from various decades, like our Columbus Avenue side, that has been the focus of the past 10 years as a very different character than the Huntington Avenue side. So the projects are responsive to that. Next slide, please. This project that I mentioned is the 262 St. Botolph Street. I just wanted to highlight one of the views and renderings, and you can find more information I can share on the project on the BPDA's website. Next slide. So in closing, the community benefits were defined in partnership with the IMP Task Force and the Planning Department and the Mayor's Office and various city agencies. This is just a snapshot, but they are quite extensive, as Quinn mentioned. We're committed to 1,000 new student beds on campus, plus 1,200 beds at 840 Columbus Avenue, which was an amendment to the previous IMP that this commission reviewed 4 years ago now. 10 million housing stabilization investment, which is $1 million per year over the next 10 years. And that fund is really quite unique partnership with the city, focusing on our contribution to the neighborhood organizations that support housing stability and people being able to stay in the neighborhood. Campus Access, which delivers measurable community benefits, continued Carter Field partnership for Boston Public Schools and community use. We maintain Carter Field in partnership with City Parks Department, and that is one of the benefits that we're further defining. educational attainment, economic mobility and workforce development, in particular investment into ground floor at 840 Columbus Avenue, and continuing operating off that floor as a center for economic development for the neighborhood. And finally, infrastructure investment, which will identify public space improvements around the 8 projects and expand our campus open space and the Arboretum. In closing, I would like to thank our Northeastern community and neighbors, elected officials, the IMP task force, the planning department, and other city department staff, and the BCDC for their time and guidance in facilitating this plan. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now take questions from members of the commission. Ms. Abilene, I would start with a question. The 1,000 new dorm beds being created, is that in any way correlated to enrollment growth? Is there projected enrollment growth as part of the 10-year IMP?
That's a great question. Yes, we're projecting a slight enrollment growth, but one of the unique definitions in our plan is that the number of students in need of housing as defined by the mayor's housing group is not going to increase. So currently our number is around 6,000 students in need of housing. So we are committed to increasing housing on campus to ensure that the number of students is not growing. So we actually have 2 sites identified for housing, and between the 2 sites, we can accommodate about 2,000 beds. So we're looking to address that, but the growth is projected, as when we looked at it 2 years ago when we started this plan, to be very moderate.
So you say there's 6,000 students that need housing. That's across all undergraduate and graduate uses at the Boston campus?
We track for the purposes of the city's reporting, they're interested in undergraduate students only. So yes, and in 2023, our undergraduate population was about 22,000 students.
So 6,000 of that 22,000 are interested in housing in the Boston area, and where do you suspect the others live?
They live on campus, or they live outside of the
So the
Boston.
6,000 is beyond the campus provided housing
Right.
ability.
Correct.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Right, so we have about 12,000 beds on campus. And generally, because of the unique nature of Northeastern's education, 3rd year is when students go on co-op. When they go on co-op, when they come back or when they're on co-op, they no longer want to reside on campus. And so we house, which was our commitment in 2013, we house 1st and 2nd year students on campus.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of the commission?
Can you address perhaps a little bit more of the timing of the Batoff Street redevelopment, if this is approved?
Yes, so we are we're going through, after this approval, we are going to submit with inspectional services for a construction permit. We're going through Public Improvements Commission review, TAPA, cooperation agreement, and it's active. We're looking to complete the arena project by fall of 2028.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from members of the commission? If not, we will entertain public testimony. If anyone is interested in testifying on this matter, please raise your hand at this time.
There seems to be no hands raised.
Very good. Thank you, Tara. We will move into our business session. Comments, questions, motions for members of the commission only. Or Jill will be forced to go 4 for 4.
I know I'm happy to share the floor on this, guys, but I actually have to comment that I do think Northeastern does a very, I know you collaborate with the city, and this is, a work of with many folks being involved, but it is a very always your IMPs are always one of the better that I think we see. So I appreciate that. And they're also very connected to the community, which I think is very important. And I know the last few years have been challenging to get a lot of projects done. And with COVID, we had this 2-year extension of your old IMP. So looking forward to this next 10-year and seeing a lot of these actually move forward, especially the couple that we approved with a couple of years ago. So I'm happy to make a motion that we approve the 2025 to 2035 Northeastern University Institutional Master Plan.
I'll second.
I
I
second.
second.
A motion and a second. We'll now take a roll call of members for this matter. Ms. Hatton,
Yes.
Ms. Morikawa,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. DeMella,
Yes.
Mr. Marr,
Yes.
Mr. Leff,
Yes.
Mr. Arroyo,
Yes.
Mr. McNeil,
Yes.
Mr. Ostrich,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. So that is, the motion carries. The IMP is adopted. Congratulations to the Northeastern team and planning department team that worked on this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you.
Thanks,
Good luck.
Commissioners.
That concludes our agenda items for today. Commission staff, are there any housekeeping announcements for the commission?
Yes. First off, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I appreciate all the work that you guys do and everything that you have to undertake, whether it be very simple or controversial. I don't think anybody in my building takes you for granted, especially myself. And I've been at this for a very long time, so I appreciate all the work that you guys do, and I wish you and your families a very happy holiday season. The next meeting will be January 7th. Right now, we'll only have one item on the agenda. It'll be over in Hyde Park. Not Hyde Park, sorry, Charlestown at the Hood PDA that's on Rutherford Avenue. They're amending that, so that will be the only item on the agenda. The most important thing in terms of what you all would be concerned with is I am meeting with the city today on getting you paid and trying to yell at people why this has become such a difficult task for them to do. It's ridiculous, and I apologize for this. It should never have come to this, but hopefully I'll have some final answers for you later on this afternoon. But other than that, I am off my soapbox, and I appreciate all the work that you guys do.
Note for the commission that Jeff sent an email on November 24th with the meeting dates for this upcoming year. So if you happen to have missed that email, November 24th in your inbox with our slate of meetings for 2026. My thanks to everyone for your service this year, and it was a great year. Thank you.
All the best to everybody.
Yeah. Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Thank you,
Happy
Jeff.
holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.